What did she really mean? What if I fail? Did I say something wrong? Should I change jobs? Am I too short? Should I eat the red or the green pepper? Does my dog think I'm stupid? Am I stupid?
We've all been there. Some of us more often, others less. And sometimes it's the tiniest and weirdest situations that keep us awake at night. The person in front of you actually wasn't waving at you, and now you're afraid someone saw you waving back. Or you pushed a door that had a clear sign on it saying pull, or even overthinking all the time you're wasting while you are overthinking. Yeah, you get the picture. And the especially cringe moments often hit you out of nowhere, maybe in the shower or while you're driving somewhere in the car. In these moments I sometimes say out loud cringe, maybe you can relate. So yeah, I've definitely been there myself. I used to overthink so many things. There are so many situations in which we overthink, and if you click this video, probably at least one of them happened to you too. It might even be the case that all of them apply to you. We're all human, all a little bit different. Nothing to worry about. And the good thing? We can work on it. There are 4 forms of overthinking. At least I split them up in these areas. So first we got social overthinking. Fear what others think about you. Not being sure what somebody meant. Was he really laughing or just out of politeness? Then we got future overthinking. Fear of taking the wrong decisions. Should I really study? Should I change jobs? Next there is self-worth overthinking. Comparison with others. Fear of failing. Perfectionism. Why is she better at this? And finally, there's the fear of unknown situations. What if I make a mistake? What if I'm not good at a thing I've never done? Some of these 4 areas might overlap each other a little bit, but still, I think it helps having heard them. Let me tell you a little story here. The funny thing is, when I was younger and going on a date, there were 2 possible scenarios. 1, the date went well, we had a lot to talk about, similar interests, no awkward silence, nothing felt forced. 2, the date went rather badly. Maybe it was boring, maybe you felt distant from each other. Something just felt off. But I noticed something interesting. Whenever it went well, I suddenly felt confident and everything suddenly felt easy. Like every other interaction after that would also go great from now on. But whenever it went bad, at least back then, I made my entire self-worth dependent on that one evening. So we got social and self-worth overthinking here. That's why I said they might overlap each other a little. And I didn't think, maybe it's not my fault. I always assumed there was something wrong with me. And that's when the overthinking loop started. What could I have done differently? Should I have phrased this sentence differently? You start building 1,000 different scenarios in your head. This went on until I reached a point in my life where I realized something. Hey, it's not the end of the world if something like this happens. Life has its ups and downs and people are just different. After a bad experience, a good one usually follows at some point. But only if we keep going and keep putting ourselves out there. That was my biggest lesson. I think most of us know it, but it's actually good to visualize it. Overthinking won't get better by not acting on it. And of course, this doesn't only apply to dating. It is applicable to a lot of activities. But let's say you're in a situation, the well-known moment when somebody says something you didn't understand. So the person has to say it another time. And you still didn't understand. What do? Ask for a 3rd time? No. Just laughed and said, yes, not having understood. Yeah, now you think, what did the person think of me? Was it even an appropriate reaction? Here you might say, just put yourself out there won't work here. You can't learn or prepare for these ones. Yes, and that's why it's so important to let them go. They might appear in your mind from time to time, but try to remember one thing. 95% of the people forget these moments in the next 2 weeks. This tip actually helped me a lot more than the usual stuff people say, like don't take stuff too seriously, try not to focus too much on your thoughts, think about something different. Honestly, what does that help? Tell me. I want to know. Because if I tell you don't think about the pink elephant, I know what you just did. You imagined it. Don't lie. I saw it. Anyway, I know there are situations people will remember, and from time to time we will overthink some things that happened. But don't try to fix yourself all the time, as this usually makes them stick around longer. Nevertheless, here's the thing. To a certain degree, it is completely normal to overthink. It's just nature's way of searching for the best solutions for yourself and making sure you don't do something stupid while you should have actually been thinking about it. Maybe it's the fear of actually acting that keeps us in our heads. Maybe we're afraid something will turn out cringe again, so we avoid it. If we just think about it long enough, maybe we find the best solution. But as you can imagine, this is rarely the case. It's usually a spiral of the same thoughts over and over again. The magical thought that solves your problem usually stays missing. But how come our brain usually replaces the awkward moments and not the great moments? It's always this moment when you send an email that says, "I'll update you shorty," instead of "shortly." Of course it sticks with you and comes around from time to time, while on the other hand you completely forget things like your bachelor's degree or the time you gave someone the best advice of their lives. But when does thinking help you? And when does it just trap you in your own head? Take my YouTube channel as an example. Whenever a video performs badly, or maybe 2 or 3 videos in a row get fewer than 100 views, it sometimes leaves me feeling stuck in my head, thinking if my video was cringe, not good enough, or what's the matter? By the way, thank you for supporting me. A like and a sub would mean the world to me, as it increases the chance of one video maybe going viral at some point. Anyways, often it's the algorithm that does its own thing, and some videos you put in the most effort perform worse than some that took you way less work. I often overthink whether at some point I might make it on YouTube. I mean, we don't know the answer, but the only chance to make it happen is to keep going, right? And as I absolutely love what I do here, it is not too difficult for me. See, this is how I see it. There are situations like preparing for an exam that need rethinking. Then there are situations like making a mistake in an email that, other than the correction, don't need rethinking. And then there are situations where it's tricky. How is the other person feeling? Or my YouTube story here. The brain doesn't always know which situations need deep thinking and which doesn't. That's why we overthink even when it's unnecessary. Because the mind treats every uncertain moment as if it could matter, just in case. But this is also what makes us human. We are not machines that can turn off their empathy or their feeling of a need to belong. And that's actually great because it shows we care. It shows that we notice details, that we want to connect, and that we want to do our best in the situations that matter. Overthinking isn't a flaw, it's a sign that your brain is engaged, that your heart is involved, and that you're paying attention to life instead of just going through the motions. The tricky part, of course, is learning which thoughts deserve your focus and which ones can be let go. How we imagine our future shapes our future. That's why it's important to keep things positive. Not in an unrealistic way, but just imagine, what do I need to be happy? Imagine how this would make you feel. That's why it's so important to not only imagine the worst case scenarios. So maybe the next moment you catch yourself overthinking something, the awkward thing you said, the message you sent, or the decision you're afraid to make, just remember that most people are way too busy to overthink their own lives instead of judging yours. And the moments that usually shape your life don't come from thinking about things for the thousandth time. Very difficult word. They come from doing them. So go send the message. Go try the thing. Go put yourself out there. Worst case, it's a little cringe. Best case, it's the start of something great.